schizophrenic psycho. Yeah. Sit here and I'm looking down while I'm rolling a blunt. And while I do that, while we wait on some people to get in. And while I do that, I'm sitting close to the mic, so you may or may not put on earbuds. And while I'm rolling my, I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna play some music. So hopefully they won't take that down to the copyright stuff or whatever, and all that stupid, silly nonsense. Hope y'all had a wonderful holiday. Happy New Year. Uh, and that you were safe and that you had a designated driver if you were drinking and all that good stuff. And hopefully you kind of try to stick to your New Year's resolutions, I guess. I don't know. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining me. Um, like I said, it's just open, pop up, pop up, open panel. But give me a second to roll one and then I'll get the links up if you want to join. If not, that's okay too. You can always, I'm going to go ahead and put the comments section there. That way I can see if you guys are talking. So just bear with me while I do this. And well, let's see. So, like I said, I am sitting close to the mic, but if you are, hey, Shades of Gray, how are you doing? If you are having an issue hearing me, just let me know. Like if I need to get it closer or whatever. I'm pretty sure the volume's turned all the way up. Hey, JP, how are you? I guess I did it. How's everything else? Is it good? Are we straight? Everything is shipshape. I certainly hope so. And I hope that you were able to enjoy your celebrations, your New Year's, and all that good stuff, regardless of that. Because damn, and I'll tell you what, y'all. I don't know if any of you have experienced the wonderful world of having sciatic nerve issues before. Um, I was aware of them because my dad has serious, serious problems with them. Um, but I never thought, that I thought it was just it happens to some people. But I was like, nah, sure, it's not gonna happen to me. No, I have literally been down and out for like, um, yeah, he is okay. As a matter of fact, I talked to him yesterday, and he was feeling a little bit sick. Those last couple times we had seen him live, he was not feeling so well. And his voice still wasn't doing so great the last time I talked to him. So we were texting, which was a day or so ago. So he was just resting up, but we're gonna try to do a little bit more of a deep dive into that one book I was talking about the other day called what that's some sticky ass tea, called The Secret History of the World. Yeah, always to you guys too. Because seriously, like I know I say this all the time, and I know a lot of other creators say it too. And sometimes um, we know why they say it. It's cliche, and they think that's what the audience wants to hear or whatever. But like when I say I genuinely appreciate all of you because like I've had my channel for a while, and some of y'all haven't been here that long, and even the ones that haven't been here that long that I've interacted with are so amazing to me. Like you guys are all unique in your own. Yeah, that fibromyalgia is no damn joke. That is definitely no joke, and it's a hard. That one's still one of those hard diseases because some doctors don't even think it's real, and I'm like, what a freaking you guys suck. Doctors suck sometimes, but yeah, like I do appreciate all of my subscribers because I know, like I say in my channel, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And I mean, I don't expect to be everyone's cup of tea. And so, doing my channel the way that I've done it, and that I don't ask in any of my videos, except like maybe at the end, I'll have that like subscribe thing on there. But I don't like verbally like ask, like, hey guys, hit the thumb, hit the like button or whatever. Because I'm assuming that most of y'all kind of know how the algorithm works. Y'all may not, unless you're a content creator, you don't know the depth to how much it works and how it's how little things can factor into whether or not your video gets promoted or doesn't get promoted at all, or like the how traffic comes into your channel, for example. Like, so I pay attention to a lot of stuff like that, and it's because of the way the algorithm has worked for me and the content that I watch myself that's brought all of you awesome people in, and also the other creators that I'm friends with that I've done um, video collabs with, like Daisy. Um, then I think, well, I don't know if it's last year or the year before that, we did. There was an Among Us with me, Dame Von Daisy, Jay from Woodward TV, and I think there was one other creator on there, as well as like a couple of our personal friends. We did videos with that. Daisy and I did a. We were guests on the podcast with Esther Joy on Rumors of War, um, who's another really good creator here. He does podcasts as well. Um, so yeah, there's like, and then again, the meeting Richie and having the interactions with him that I have over the last several years have been extremely huge and a very important part of my life and all that. Thank you guys for joining. It's just like we're doing the chill session, and I was just kind of giving any of the newbies that are here that like haven't been with my channel, because if you go back and look at my older videos, there's a huge, well, first of all, you can tell how I used to struggle with like editing and all that stuff because I was self-taught, but like there's a huge difference in like the content itself. A lot of it used to be art and directed towards my art, and then whenever the whole thing happened, um, it like hit me, sidelined me completely, and like I felt it was really important, especially because at the same time that the pandemic occurred, is the same time that my first grandchild arrived, like literally the same week. So I was like, damn, university really trying to mess me up. But I felt it was more important because I can always do my art. I can do my art whenever. Um, oh, really? In August? That's so awesome. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you and the missus. I hope that you guys are super happy. Although um, I don't envy you guys that are like super, like, I think marriage is cool. Okay. And I do feel like if I was to one day get married, everything I'm going through in my life right now, and I've went through thus far in my life, is training for that, and to teach me the things that are not acceptable and are acceptable in that, and so that whenever if I decide to ever get married, um, it'll be with the person that I really truly want to be with. You know what I mean? With, and then I've also come to the conclusion that sometimes me and this mouth and these opinions, they just I just ain't made for some people. It just may not be my thing. I may be, maybe single for the rest of my life, and that's okay too. That is okay too, because you know what? If that means that I'll be living peacefully, and I have my little doggy by my side, and I don't have nobody bitching at me like, "Oh, your bud is smoking up that," which I wouldn't date somebody that didn't smoke bud, or at least had an issue with it. I know, right? But like, hey, gorgeous, there's my little baby. It's my bubby wubby, my little Eddie. That's my baby. But like, I don't. I feel like, in my opinion, because my parents literally, this was their 40th Christmas together. I only know like two other friends of mine that's parents are still together and not divorced. That's very like, which I just want to throw this little jab out there to the chick that could have been my very first mother-in-law, which is my daughter's paternal mother. Uh, for you to think that you were hot snot and you to be the one to end up getting divorced, my parents can still make it. I'm pretty sure that if you look at that, maybe we did know a little bit more about things in life than what you guys gave us credit for, especially with that prejudgmental bias opinion that you have because my parents lived the way they lived and worked the jobs they did, and because you and your husband at the time lived and worked the jobs y'all did, you thought you were better than me. Um, no, you're a human being just like I am, and I still to this day, after all that, still treat you just the same. I treat you like you are my mother-in-law, even though you were never my mother-in-law, and I try to respect that. I wish that she could have that same respect back for me, but she doesn't, and that's cool. I don't care. It's literally every person in my life that is like that towards me, and when it comes to my kids, their their goal is to make my kids think that I'm batshit crazy and not worth being around, or that I'm somehow going to affect them in some negative way. And inevitably, that has caused at least one of my children to be like, well, that's not necessarily how I remember mom being. I know she could be a bitch, but like, I think I'm gonna just go and see how she's doing, fuck with her for a little while and see how that goes. And obviously, it's going extremely well. I talk to my daughter all the time on a regular basis. She comes and visits. I come and visit her, and I get to see pictures of my grandkids every day. They love me. So it's like, yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, really though. And we all put it most for the most part, we put our pants on the same way. I think every day. Maybe some do it right leg first, left leg first. Who knows? I don't care. But at the end of the day, we're either all humans or human hybrids of some sort. Either way, we all look like humans in this meat suit down here. So for all intents and purposes, we're basically the same in that sense. So whether and I'll treat people pretty much the same, except for one particular thing that not going to go off on a tangent tonight. I already did the other day because we are all the same. And uh, whether you're a bum or you're Queen Elizabeth or King Charles, I'm gonna treat you the same. I'm gonna treat you the way you treat me, and it's that simple. I don't care if you're King Charles. I'm gonna treat you the way you treat me. You can curtsy, I'll curtsy. If you don't want to curtsy, I'm not gonna curtsy. I'll dab you up. Whatever you want to do, I don't care. But that's how I am. And then if we start being disrespectful to me, we'll talk about it once. And if it continues, then I'm literally the type of chick that'll sit right beside you, knowing damn good and well that you can't fucking stand me, and make you just sit and sulk in your bullshit because you know you're an asshole. I'm not gonna walk away so that you can think that you can behave like that and that just runs everybody off, and you don't have to deal with your own self worth. No, no, simple bitch. You sit over there and do your own self work because I have had to. That is what I've literally spent almost the last 10 years of my life doing is working on myself and realizing things about myself where I could improve and things where I could just be like, you know what, Emma, that shit in your life is a huge part of why everything has happened this far, and that shit has got to go. However, you got to get rid of it, it's got to go. Like, and I've always been an argumentative person my whole life. Like, it's one of those things where, like, some people will say you got to pick and choose your battles, right? I fully agree that. I fully agree with that. You do got to pick and choose your battles. But at the same time, where did my rap go? I don't think that there's just some things that I can just simply it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the battle is or who the battle's with. If it's about the issue that sometimes I have a hard time just dropping the argument and walking away. That's been my biggest problem, like knowing which ones to pick and choose to battle. And like, okay, for example, about 10 or 15 years ago, Emma, had she gotten involved in the true crime community the way she did in 22 and had the incident occur like I did with um, a moderator, she's a moderator for a couple different channels. And what happened was she was a moderator for this one channel, and the channel creator like went off on me for no reason. She actually was way out of she was way wrong with what she did and all that. But then instead of the moderator keeping it, the argument, the beef, the issue, and the drama with that channel and that creator, she proceeded to see me commenting on another channel that I subscribed to, not even talking about what had happened. I was just like commenting on that dude's video or whatever, right? And then she makes a snarky comment towards me, bringing that drama from over there over to this person's channel. And I didn't say anything about it. But later that day, when I got back on YouTube and I saw that creator's community post, it was a low key jab at me basically saying, I'm going to take the moderator's side, period. And I was like, not even going to dignify that it was a response. I simply was like, okay, cool, unsubscribe. And I know that my one subscription didn't make a fuck to him, but that's how I roll. You keep your drama where it started. You don't take the drama that you started at someone else's channel and then drag it all the way over here at another creator's channel who knew nothing about it prior to your dumb fucking two-faced ass bringing it over there and starting up more shit. I'm not going to be part of that. So I straight up removed myself from that and have not been back to that dude's channel since. He probably knows I'm talking about him. I don't care. I don't care about the moderator. I don't care. I'll call her bitch ass out every day. By the way, they are still starting off 23. This the worst fucking mods in true crime, and that are the mods that mod for True Crime with Eve. So if you are a fan of True Crime with Eve, I'm sorry. She told me to go fuck myself, and basically she can go fuck herself because she was wrong. She should have read her chat before she went off me like that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't block. I ain't even blocked them. I'll just unsubscribe. That way I don't have to see your bullshit coming up in my feed or on my home screen page, or I don't get notifications about you no more. It's literally that simple to remove that kind of stress from you. But when I see people trying to drag me into drama on somebody else's channel that has nothing to do with our particular drama, what is that, middle honey, are you in middle school? Sit the fuck down and shut up. I ain't got time for that. I'm a grandma. I ain't got the time to play middle school bullshit, please. No, no, ma'am. No, thank you. Oh, no. No, I just had that damn thing. Where did I put it? Oh, that's gonna make me mad. Did I sit here and roll this whole thing out and I can't even find the thing right now? It'll come to me in a second. That is that's frustrating as hell. Oh, there it is. I'm so yeah, it is petty. It really is. And it was like honestly, I was in the right. I was fully in the right when when okay. So what happened was this has to do with Michael Walensky. I'll go ahead and break it down for y'all while we got time. Okay, so and Arctic Fox can back me up on this too. Um, so I was going through the case, and Holly, if you are watching this or you come across this, you are not permitted to watch this live stream until we get to this part. She's helping me go through some of this. We're doing it video by video. And so there was an incident where early on in that case, I had made a comment on, I think it was Harsh Reality's channel or something, somewhere. I said, I don't know, but I didn't like the interview and the mom rubbed me the wrong way. I'll regret those words until the day I die. And I will spend the rest of my life probably apologizing to her every time I see her in the live stream that I'm in, begging her to forgive me because that was wrong. And through the course of all this stuff, like that's where Harsh Reality came into factor and the True Crime with Eve came into play because I was doing research on the case. And I'm sitting there, and this is after I'd already started feeling bad about what I said, and I tried to apologize to Brandy. And one of the moderators goes, "Well, come up on panel and explain." And I was like, "Okay, put up a link." So I sit there and I wait on them to put up a link. Now, honestly, I came in at the very end of that live stream. I just got home. So I didn't know that she was using not StreamYard, but that other one. And that she also, what she should have done, because apparently she didn't, was tell her mods that it was not an open panel. So that's why she didn't put up a link. But she was trying to do the live and keep up with the chat and not let the mods handle their job correctly. So they kept saying, uh, go up and explain, and she wasn't catching that part. And then when I was like, okay, we'll put up the link, and I will. Until then, shut up and leave me alone because I'm not going to sit here and keep arguing with y'all back and forth. Well, then she didn't put up the link and start seeing where I said, all I'm trying to say is we should maybe not be so hard on Brandy or until we know everything. And we should also be mindful because these family members are sometimes watching these live streams and they're in the chats. Just because you don't know they're there, don't mean they're not there. And oh my God, next thing you know, because I brought up the suspicious babysitter, who is still, in my opinion, very much suspicious. Okay. I bring her up and they go ape shit. Like, oh no, we're friends with the babysitter, team babysitter this, team babysitter that. I was like, I don't care. I said what I said, and I mean that. And if she wants to answer some of these questions, then I'm more than willing to hear her out. But y'all got to shut up and let her answer them and stop redacting anything I'm trying to ask. And before the end of it, she says, "Oh, I did. I already left you a comment on one of your videos." No, she didn't. No, she did not. And I checked all 300 and something of them. She's fucking lying. Okay. So that's why I ended up making videos after the fact and letting them know, like, first of all, Eve, you're wrong. Learn how to run a chat. Learn what to tell your mods. And let your mods know what you want and what you don't want before you ever go live. I mean, fuck, this ain't rocket science, and I ain't even. I'm very new to this, and I know that. So yeah. So but she literally all says, for one, tries to say I'm pushing a narrative, and I was like, okay, show me where I'm pushing a narrative. We're still waiting on that as well, by the way. And then she was like, and you can go fuck yourself. I was like, wow, 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 lady. I like literally didn't even say anything that would even cause for that. And that's what she said. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't care. And I was subscribed to her at that time. I didn't realize it. I immediately went and I subscribed to her too. But like, no, no, lady, you were so out of line. You were so out of line. It wasn't even funny, and that had me cracking up. But yeah, okay. So then Michelle, when the most recent of updates come in with that case, Michelle Walks. I don't know if any of you guys. I love Michelle Walks. I just love those dogs. I really do. Um, and she was talking about um, it was a live stream that she was doing, and I just happened to get. This is where I fuck up sometimes. I should just sit there and listen to live. I should not go and try to participate in the chat. And what my dumbass do? I go to the chat. So as soon as I get in the chat, I see that same moderator. I was like, so not only was she over there at Eve's, she was at Harsh's. Now she's over here at Michelle's, and they trying to act like they weren't doing none of that grimy stuff. They weren't bashing Brandy. They were trying to act like they were just oh so this, and I was like, no, 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 no. But it was a members only thing, and I'm not a member of her channel because I'm a member of her group on Facebook, so I couldn't post in the chat. So that's why I ended up making the one short where I tell them they can shut the fuck up. They can shut all the way up because they're lying and they're over there doing that what I call double dipping bullshit, where you go to one creator and do that back and forth wishy washy shit. Stop trying to cause drama. If this is what y'all are doing, you are not helping the true crime community when you're stirring up drama in between two creators, which are working on the same case, which could be providing information back and forth to one another that could be beneficial to help us solve some of these crimes. But y'all rather stir up drama and cause a bunch of distraction and nonsense and prevent anything from going forward in any of these cases. Yep, that's fucking awesome. That's so awesome. I'm betting those families are real happy y'all do that. And especially when they look and they see y'all are making money off that shit, off their missing kids is and you're making money off that by stirring up drama with other creators and some of y'all spreading straight misinformation in these cases. Oh yeah, I'm sure the families are real happy that y'all are doing that. And the neighbors, oh, I'm sure they love it when you show up with your goddamn bullhorns and shit and won't shut the fuck up in the middle of the night. I bet they love that. I tell you what, that shit wouldn't fly around here. You wouldn't be doing that for about 20 minutes in this town with a bullhorn before somebody's coming out their door with a shotgun and they're going to warn you once to get up out of here with that. And then it's going to pop because that's how we do. Hey, Greg, go ahead. Oh, it's nice to see you here. I don't think I've seen you here before. Thank you for joining me. Doing like a little pop up chill and just chit chat with all the fam. I know I had a blast the other night with Sasquatch, Caucasian Sasquatch. If you guys um, haven't seen him, he is freaking awesome. Freaking uh, was talking about feral people, and I know that there's stories of the little people in the Smokies, um, but I did not know that there was actually little people that were blue. So that instantly made me start thinking of like the Smurfs, and like what if there is? I think there's way more truth than in some of these cartoons, and I'm telling y'all, if you just listen, oh, okay, yeah, definitely recognize it. If you just listen to some of the lyrics and stuff, they're fully telling you like everything we need to know. So I don't know why people don't listen to that more. I get it. Sometimes it is hard for people to listen to metal and shit like that, but like their lyrics are really deep. Like um I listen to Mudvayne, in which I'm so glad they're back together. And one of their songs, um, "All That You Are," from their album, I think it's on Lost and Found, but it is also on um, "By the People for the People." and I think it even has the demo version of that song. But the lyrics of that song are really, really awesome. The very beginning of it, the lyrics are really awesome. Um, Plus, serving the Hermetics was just something that I'm big into too. I love Hermetics. I think that it's a very understated, misunderstood practice, because I'm not going to call it a religion because it's not a religion. It's a way of life. It's like full on understanding of the nature of reality and all that we live in. So that, I mean, sacred geometry, esoteric stuff, uh, occult knowledge. Oh yeah. No, you want to see what I'm sitting on? I'm sitting in a little chair like that. See, I have like a weird little setup in my area for a number of different things. So I'm usually sitting with my camera facing down because I'm usually sitting. Oh, I'm usually sitting right here at my art table, and for some reason, that stool has been given my this particular stool, and not the other one that I sit on over there, has been given that nerve in my back. Uh, so it's been giving me hell. It has been giving me a lot of hell. Hell no, I ain't sitting on the floor right now because it's been the weather here in North Carolina has been bipolar as shit, and I had to I caught a mouse the other night, so there's no effing way I'm sitting on the floor. Because remember, guys, I live in a basement. When you live in a basement, you deal with things that normally you wouldn't have to because of shit like that. And I have my door open all the time. I'm getting ready to get ready to smoke a blunt. Uh, yeah, and I don't know what's gotten into them lately. The damn mice or whatever. They brave as shit. Just coming, just coming out looking at you like, hey, and I'm like, oh, you definitely gonna die, because that I can't do. Uh-uh. No, sir. No freaking way. I was like, y'all know how this is how crazy I am about not dealing with a mouse. I'll be the type of chick to go out and find a big black snake and bring it into the house to get rid of a mouse. That snake ain't gonna phase me. It's not a constrictor. It's a black snake. Its bite's not venomous. Even if it did bite me, it's my pain threshold is pretty high. So, and it's likely to find the mouse before it gets tempted to bite me. So yeah, seriously, I would do that. I'm that kind of chick. I don't play or something. Ants and mice. No. Hell to the no. Hell to the no no. Can't do it. But a spider, this is what's so funny. A spider is so safe around me. It's not even funny. Like literally, if I see a spider, I'll do everything I can to not kill it, to get it. If it's in a place where it's like not really going to affect me at all, then I'm just going to leave it where it's at, and it can build a nest all it wants to. I don't care. I live in a basement. Spiders' jobs are to eat bugs like basement centipedes and shit. So I'm not. I won't kill a spider. I have one that's been living like underneath like the back behind my toilet and the floor near the pipe that comes in or whatever. It's been living there for years. And I refuse to kill it. And I tell anybody if they go in the bathroom, if you see that spider, do not mess with that spider because it's not going to mess with you. And anybody ever kills my spider, I'm going to go at you because it's not bothering nobody. Plus, if you know anything about uh, witches, they have familiars. Most of them don't run around telling everybody they are, because it's usually pretty obvious we shouldn't have to tell people. But they usually have a familiar animal that you know, they can relate to or they get along with or whatever. And mine's always been the spider. It always has been ever since, for as long as I can remember. That's why I'm one of those that you will not see cats around and do not. I'm not. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. And I don't know if like spider witches ride brooms or not. I know my broom's been in the shop for quite a while though because I've always had one. I think that we come standard. Natural witches come standard with a broom. Y'all don't see them because they're invisible. Some witches I've heard, some of the really cool witches, they got unicorns. Hey, buddy, how are you doing? How'd your live go last night? I didn't get to check in. I got home a little bit late. I missed it, but I did see that you went live last night. And this guy, he's giving me some inspiration for another little series that I do, especially this summertime. You know that car is going to be getting it this summertime. The Car Wash Chronicles, because we're literally like always at the car wash, always at the car wash doing that car wash thing. Because I can't stand to have a dirty car or a stinky car or like a car that smells like animals or like I don't mind having my animals in the car, my dog in the car, but I'll keep a blanket back there or something that she can lay on, and then I keep hella incense or like a car air freshener in my car. I like smelly good stuff, even though I'm not a bougie chick. I like stuff that smells good. Like I'm constantly burning wax, candles, incense. It's gotta smell good. I gotta smell good. I don't necessarily have to look good, but I'm trying to smell good. I do that. And if it wasn't for my daughters and my friend, uh, that are like what I call they're bougie, so that I don't have to be, and they help me whenever it's like impossible for me to be. Like for example, I was waxing my upper lip last month. Won't do that again by myself. Actually, I'm allowed. YouTube changed some stuff up. You can go live on. I can go live on YouTube now without StreamYard, and I think I can invite up to one guest. But in order for you to be able to do that, I think you have to have 25 subscribers at least. Where you used to have 1,000 to go live on YouTube without StreamYard. That's why I started using StreamYard. But you can only have one guest, I think, through YouTube. 'Cause when I did the live with my daughter last night or last week for the last episode of the podcast, we used YouTube, but she had figured out the way to do it through. We use StreamYard. She had figured out the way to do it through YouTube, although we haven't done it through YouTube yet. So, because I'm not sure um, sometimes how that's going to work out with like my mic, because I think sometimes with StreamYard, um, it wasn't letting me use one of my older mics when I was using StreamYard before, and I don't know why. I would just have to use straight audio and sit really close to the camera, way closer than I am right now to the camera, so that it would pick it up. But this, uh, this is why you can hear me right now because it's like literally right here in front of me, and you can probably hear me even better when I'm like that because I'm right up on it. Let me see. I'll change it. Let's see. I'm gonna change it to where it constantly changes color. There it is. See, now it changes colors. It's purple, pink, red. Yeah. If you want to go live on the phone, you need 1,000. No, no, no. I can do it now. No, you can. Yeah, hold on. Look. Um, which phone am I on right there? I got the last one. I'm on a phone. I'm recording from a phone. Two. Oh, so that's a total of three. Uh, there's the fourth one, and there's a tablet. There's a tablet that I also use. That's that. It's a struggle. Space and me being a hoarder when it comes to that is a huge struggle. So yeah, like right now, I bet. You see, I have a pair of Bluetooth headphones in that are hooked to this phone. Let's see. Look at that. I'm gonna live wallpaper. Hold on, I'll show you what it does. See, and it animates itself. That's called Bismillah. Like in that song, Queen song. Bismillah. No, we will not let you go. Oh, it's Puddle of Mud. Psycho. I'm pretty sure that song's about me too. So is that Nelly song. Yeah, that's also about me. I'm just kidding. Probably not. So what? Okay, let's see. What kind of music are you guys into? You guys like metal? You listen to rap? You listen to? Um, yeah, I bet. No, no. See, I am a PC. I am in PC, but then I don't have the drive storage up in here to deal with all of the tech that has been laid out here for y'all. It's hard. It's hard to keep up with. It is really hard to keep up with because there's coding that I learn. Uh, what kind? So do you listen? You listen to old? Okay, I bet you like. This is what I was listening to earlier today. I bet you guys will be able to hear this because my headphones are so loud. Let's see. Do you like this? This is older. This is a little bit older. This is one of my favorite songs from uh from the Remember the Titans soundtrack. It's from the Remember the Titans soundtrack, but that's not originally where it's from. And the band is called the Hollies. Do you know the song? So y'all should probably be able to hear it. Saturday night, working for the FBI. I like this song. April 1. I don't know. And Foghat's a good one. I think that's a classic. How do y'all feel about covers? Like when, say for example, like how is Manson gonna do Depeche Mode? You know what I mean? Like personal Jesus, that kind of stuff. You're a trucker, not a geek. I'm not a trucker. I'm a, I'm I guess I don't know if I would call it a geek because I do love geeky stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I'm such a nerd. Like, let me tell you how pumped I am, you guys. Okay, so do any of you guys know who Graham Hancock is? Randall Carlson or Bright Insight? That guy Jimmy Corsetti. He was on Joe Rogan, and he's been on another channel too. But and of course he has his own channel. But Randall Carlson's a geologist, and Graham Hancock is a journalist and an author. And they talk about the Younger Dryas period and the geocataclysm, the massive geocataclysm. They're coming to my town soon, like this year. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What do you think about them? What do you think about that stuff? Like, honestly, because they've been doing a geodidactic study here in the Blue Ridge Mountains for several years, right? And I was just talking to my buddy about this today, and I started putting all these pieces together. So they were doing the geodidactic study. Then Raytheon, a couple years ago, right around that time, started to move into town, and then I noticed that they were at the beginning of last year. Oh yeah, they are. So listen to what I'm about to tell you. So at the beginning of last year, if you go to one of the first videos from last year that I uploaded, is me traveling down the interstate, and I noticed a truck carrying I think it's six big ass tankers, right? And I just happened to look out of my peripherals. I took physical science honors in chemistry, so I seen it said F type. I knew that it was uranium, so I clicked it. I made sure I got the video out. But as I pull out my camera, the truck driver seen me do that in my side mirror and slowed down. I barely caught it enough to where I was able to come home and look at it, and guess it was in fact uranium. It's uranium that has can't word garbage, a specific use, and it was being transported to either, well, they were going on the interstate towards Johnson City, so I'm assuming it's going towards the Tennessee Valley Authority or the Savannah River facility. Both of these places deal with nuclear stuff, even though you don't know that unless you dig deep, but they do. Because a lot of people, some of y'all may know this too, but Oak Ridge in Tennessee, uh, is where our nukes for World War II were built. And I'll go into that and why I know so much about that and some of the stuff that I know that some people may not know um, in another live because I have some insider I have some insider information about some of that, um, and I have to obviously go over that with some of those sources before I can just go blabbing my mouth about that. But so I think that the timing of that with what just happened in my town too with the water. Okay, so they at first everybody was under the impression that the water pipes, the main city's water pipe system had busted, and that's why it caused water outages all over town. That is not what happened. There was for some reason some other kind of uh, incident at a facility that caused them to not be able to produce water, and so that's why everybody was out of water, allegedly. Now, when I looked into this yesterday and I saw the map that they had put up about where the water outages were, where they'd been restored, where there was a and where there's a private water system. Well, we're smack dab. Where I live is right smack dab, allegedly in the middle of this so-called private water system. And I'm like, okay, so if it's a private water system, um, then I need to ask my buddy, like, then who are we paying the water bill to? Because I was under the impression that everybody, like where my parents live, they pay their water bill to the city. So that's not private water. Why would that water system have been shut down? Like there's a lot of stuff with this water incident that ain't adding up, but everybody in town doesn't realize it because they didn't know about all those other things. Because they've literally micro compartmentalized the way they disclose information in this town to certain people. It's fucking bizarre. And, like, then when I was watching the presser about the water yesterday too, even that was weird. The amount of people that have been without water in this town, my parents were without water since Christmas Eve. And when I talked to them 2 days ago, they were still out of water, okay? And we're having to go get potable and non-potable water. Um, so the presser is discussing all of this. We're not under a full water advisory, which is weird because at one point they said, "Oh, we see these all the time over here, the UAP stuff." I just saw two F-16 fighter jets flying over right from the lake, right by the house, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But and that has something to do with Raytheon because Raytheon is contracted by the Department of Defense. Um, for the United States government, and they are literally have just finished up building a 1,000,000 square foot facility right in the backyard of the Biltmore State, which is also the same meets to the backyard of where I live. Um, like sort of, it like I mean, it's a huge piece of land, like where the Biltmore State is, and that is a freaking mansion castle. It's huge, and then where I live is in their backyard, technically, because basically the Vanderbilts own and built Asheville, and they still own and build and run Asheville, even though they don't want to admit it. That's exactly what's going on. And so basically, everybody lives in their backyard. Doesn't matter where you live in their backyard because they own Asheville. So like flat out, they own Asheville. There's no way around it. And that family is so big, and there's so many philanthropists that have built so many of the companies that continue to sustain Asheville that there are members of the family that don't even realize that they're members of the same family, the Vanderbilt. They're just further on down the line, but they're the same members of, like Anderson Cooper is obviously, but we all know that he's a celebrity or whatever. But there's people that live in this town that are just everyday fucking people that are direct descendants of the Vanderbilts, and you would not know that based on the way they live or anything like that. You would not know that, and only some of them recently started figuring that out. And there's like a small group of them that have gotten together and talked about this. It's like it's very bizarre. And the more I think that like Burn and Cam do the Tartaria stuff, and everybody starts putting all these puzzle pieces together, then then that's when stuff might actually start to change because they can't hide forever when the family has gotten as big as it has. Which is why I thought it was crazy when they started coming out with all these like DNA and kits and ancestry tests and stuff like that. Like these people are going to eventually start figuring out where their family lines go to and stuff like that. And then they're going to be a little upset that they've been lied to about it for so long. I'm not sure how they're thinking that's going to work out well for them, but I think, yeah. But I think that the reason that Randall and Carlson or Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock and Jimmy are coming at the time that they are, is probably because there is something in these mountains. Like I was talking about 2 live streams ago, I think, about the pyramidal type structures that they're just simply they look covered. So they look like mountain peaks, but they are too symmetrical and too straight to be not man made. They're just covered with trees. And I think between that, the study, the water, Raytheon, and then now they're coming into town and they're doing a conference, I think in April or May, um, right here, yeah, they're looking at something. They're here to look at something. They're not here just to do a flipping conference. Come on. Like, no. But I have America Before. I have a hardback copy of America Before. So even if I can't get in on that little conference, whatever, because the tickets are like quite a bit, I'm going to sit in the plaza of the place where it's at every single day until I see him come out just to get an autograph for that book. I love Graham Hancock. I think he's awesome. A lot of people have their own opinions about him, but I think, he's onto something to definitely think I mean, they literally have so much evidence to back up what they're saying, and that's my hugest thing. Like, I'll debate with you all day long as you got evidence to back up your side and you deliver it in a respectful manner. Then by all means, please. I love a good debate, and I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong and be like, you know, I just got served. Believe me, you can ask my daughter. She does it at least once a week. At least once a week, that girl will drop some shit on me, and I'm like, well, damn. I guess that just told my ass. Like I thought microchipping the kids would be a good idea, especially nowadays. Like, just think about this, Holly. I called her up one day. This was months and months ago. I was like, so I was just thinking, what if we nanochip the kids? And she was like, who are you and what have you done to my mother? I was like, no, it's different now. When you're a grandmother, things are not the same, and you really want to protect your babies. Like, so if we nanochip them, and I was giving her, I already had this whole thing thought out. Like, we nanochip them, and it doesn't do specific things like take pictures of it. It just keeps it where they are from place to place, kind of like GPS does now, but more specific. And then they have the opportunity when they turn 18 to have it removed, and then they can look at their metadata over their first 18 years of their life, every place they went, all over the place, all the places they visited, and all that shit. I thought that was a fucking awesome idea. She was like, no, that's terrible, Mom. Why would you even say that? I was like, well, I thought it was a good idea. And she strongly disagreed with me on that. So yeah, that was an epic fail for Gigi on that one. Yeah. But honestly, I hate to break it to y'all. I think everybody that's like 50 and under, and especially since because we've all been getting vaccinated. But I asked my mom about that. There was a time when they weren't getting vaccines and they didn't have to get vaccines to go to school. Did anybody ever think about that? Yeah, yeah. And again, I just love how we just threw absolute science right out the fucking window with that mask thing. I'm like, oh, so we breathe out carbon dioxide because the trees breathe it in. And when they produce the oxygen back out that we breathe in because we're not supposed to breathe in the carbon dioxide. Yet now you're telling us to go boop and breathe in the carbon dioxide all day, every day, breathing in carbon dioxide. I'm sure that's gonna be fucking awesome. You know why that is? Them people that fall for that, y'all must not be tree people. Y'all must not understand science and how the fuck that works. Unless trees are switching shit up and we're switching shit up too, and we're not breathing out carbon dioxide anymore. But it can't be both. Like y'all got to pick one or the other. Like not everybody out there is dumb. What's really blowing my mind sometimes is when I have these conversations with people, and then later on they'll come back and try to be snarky and be like, "What the hell do you know? You didn't even graduate high school." You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Just because I didn't graduate high school doesn't mean I'm not smart. I don't have to have a piece of paper to tell me that I'm fucking intelligent. I don't have to have a piece of paper to tell me that I know how to drive and operate a vehicle. I know how to drive an operated vehicle, and I do it under the law. That's why I don't get pulled over for disobeying the law and breaking the law. They can't look at me and be like, "Oh, she don't have a license." And the fact that people just fall for some of the shit that they come up with that blows my mind. I'm just like, know your sovereignty and know what they really can and can't do. It's like it just I've been pulled over or I've went through roadblocks. I've gotten tickets for driving without a license. And what I do is I'll go to court every time, a- and I have to have glasses to drive. I have to have corrective lenses because I'm nearsighted and one farsighted other, so I can't judge depth perception without them. So I have to have them to get a license. All I have to do is pay a seatbelt ticket, get insurance, and I can go get my damn license. But no, 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 no. Because for one, that is just a stupid amount of money that I don't have because y'all don't want to pay us the proper amount of money that we need to make a living wage, let alone survive and thrive in this country. So y'all can suck my balls. That's just one tangent I'd have with them about that. But at the same time, I'm like, when I can just get in the car 9 times out of 10, go to the grocery store like I need to do, because that's basically what I do, and to get the shit I need done while driving properly, like I'm supposed to, according to your driver's handbook, which I have read in full, and not get pulled over, and then not have to pay these stupid fines. So I go and I'll tell them I need a continuance, I need a continuance, and on the third one, they just get fucking tired of me and throw it out every time. Knock on wood, because I really would hate for that to happen and not work out that way. But things have a way of working out for me like that because I put I feel like when I put good intent and good energy into the universe for people, that it comes back for me like that when I need it the most. Like when I need some shit to happen where like, oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get out of this, and all of a sudden something will happen and it just that yeah, that's why that happens to me. Because I genuinely intend good things and want to help people. And if nothing else, by sharing some of the shit I've been through, let them know that they're not alone and that there are other people that have been through that shit. And maybe if they haven't, but they've been in a similar situation or could be going through something that could potentially end like that, that maybe they make a better decision or make the right decision for their situation, that they don't have to go through some of the unnecessary trauma that I have early on in life. Had people in my life been a little bit more understanding and listened to me and took my feelings and my opinion into consideration when it comes to my body and things that were going on at that time. But I can't change that. I do believe that everything happens for a reason and that a lot of our life path is set way before we get here. So, like I said, like, 'cause I wouldn't have my daughter, I wouldn't have my kids or anything had things not went exactly the way they have thus far. Like, if they had went the way Emma planned, I wouldn't have kids. I probably wouldn't be a YouTuber. I'd probably be working for the FBI, no shit, for the criminal behavior analysis unit, profiling people. That was literally what I wanted to do since I was like in the fifth grade, which I think is another reason why I do true crime, follow true crime at least, because I've been interested in it since I was about 9, because of the West Memphis Three. So I can remember when the OJ shit happened. As old as I am, believe it or not, if you look it up, I can remember the Susan Smith case when it happened, and I think I was in the second grade when that happened, and I can remember that stuff. So true crime's always just been something that I've been interested in, not because I'm a homicidal maniac or anything. Because honestly, at the end of the day, when I think about it, it's like people can make me that mad, but like it's not going to be worth it at the end of the day. End of the day, for me to lose my cool and do something stupid, and then spend the rest of my life in prison because I damn sure know that's not what my purpose is for being here. Or I wouldn't have children and grandchildren if I was meant. And oh, by the way, that podcast I was talking about earlier is called Beyond Top Secret Texan. It used to be Rumors of War 1987, but now it's Beyond Top Secret Texan. I follow him too. I follow like a plethora of channels that people would probably be like, wow, I didn't even know she'd followed that. I have a bunch of ex Mormon people that have left the Mormon community. I follow one chick that left the FLDS or whatever, left that cult or whatever you want to call it, and a bunch of other different types of channels. Like I follow a lot of different channels, but I follow the true crime community specifically because of um, the mass exploitation of true crime itself. The people that try to abuse that, claiming that they're victims advocates or they just want to help when it's so very obvious that that's not what the fuck they're in it for. And they could care less if the kid gets found because honestly, if the kid gets found, they're cash cows out the door. And I think we all know which creators are are like that and which ones aren't. There's just a way to go about delivering that stuff, and then there's a way that you don't. And that will be discussed a lot throughout my podcast that I do this year. That's what me and my guest host that I will have on my second season are going to be talking about the different things in true crime that occur. Because before I ever watched anything on YouTube, I would watch true crime on TV, and that's through mainstream media such as like 48 Hours or some shit like that, or American Justice. And then when I discovered what true crime is on YouTube, I was fucking horrified at what I had seen and the shit that I've seen go on since Summer Wells case and shit like that. I'm like, oh my god, like it's it's just so disgusting. Like no, no, it's and like I said, I can speak from the perspective of a mother that has lost a child, but not through something like very traumatic, like your child was kidnapped or your child was murdered or something like that. It was just, it was a very, very traumatic thing, but he died from a bunch of illnesses that occurred right around the time of his birth. So the that's the loss that I experienced. So my reaction and the way I would have dealt with that death could very much be different than how some of these mothers are expressing their grief and how they're reacting when they're going through that shit. And they're also going through that shit in front of all of us, which I did not do. I wasn't on social media. I had Facebook when my son passed away. I wouldn't even get on the computer. I didn't get on the computer for a while. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't leave the house for a while. I went through a short period of drinking constantly because I'm just like trying to deal with all of that shit at that time. And that was the trauma that I was initially dealing with. There was traumas that had occurred before that I hadn't even started processing yet, let alone acknowledging that it was a trauma. I just chalked it up to like that's my life, deal with it, and moved along. And it wasn't until the last 5 or 6 years that I started realizing like all of these things, Emma, that you just thought were like, oh, that's just some stupid event that happened in my life. No, those things, those really big things like that right there at that age, that's fucking trauma. Like huge, huge, huge trauma on so many levels that sometimes I try not to think about it too much because there were four adults in my life at that time that, granted, they were a little traumatized too because I fucked up and got pregnant at the age I did, but they were the adults. And the way they handled it, I think, was the way they felt best at the time. However, I do feel like they should have taken that into consideration after they made the decision without my even consent or anything as to what we were going to do about that, and then proceeded to uh, slowly and like over time try to alienate me, um, and try to make me out to be like I'm some terrible person. And it's like, um, you know, I didn't do that by myself, and I didn't end up in that situation by myself. But I've largely had to deal with it by myself while y'all sit there and judge me for not handling it how you would. Well, the difference is that you were handling your motherhood at the age of 20 something, just speaking of the paternal grandmother. And I'm handling motherhood at the age of 1 month after the age of turning 15. So I'm sure you could see why I would be handling that much differently. I'm a child raising a child, and not one of y'all stopped ever and thought about how that could possibly be impacting my brain, let alone her dad's brain, let alone her entire fucking future from that point. So, like, yeah, I don't understand why they have treated me the way they have. And I think that's why my daughter is a little bit more understanding of why nowadays, or nowadays, anyways. because these were things that I didn't get to talk to her about whenever she was younger. Yeah, I know, right? But there were things that once she became a mother and I went to visit her that we were sitting there and we're just chit chatting and she was like, "Well, can I just, I can ask you stuff." I'm like, "You can ask me whatever you want to, and I'm not gonna lie to you about anything. Um, but I'll warn you before if it's gonna be an answer that I think you may need a warning before I give you the honest answer to, then I'll warn you." So, and that's what we did. We sat there for like the entire day of just talking about all kinds of stuff. Me being a mom at the age I was, why I made some of the decisions I made, and how I feel about them now. What would I've done differently, all that stuff. And I think that it's made me a much better mother having gone through all that stuff, and them doing that to me, then me going through what I went through with my ex and all that, and then leaving him, and then literally spending the last 6 years straight doing like a lot of self work, a lot of like reflecting on me and all of these things that have happened to me that have made me the person I am to this day, and why I am the way I am. And I'm not, it's made me a much stronger person and more like aware of things than I think I would have been had I not went through some of those traumas. I think I'd be very, very, very naive about some stuff if I didn't go through some of that. And because I'm so open with my children about the struggles that I went through because I was a young mom, although I'm very choosy with what information I give them because one of them's a little bit younger than the other. Um, I let that like they're more comfortable talking to me. I feel like they're way more comfortable coming to me and asking me questions about things than they would their dad. Like because they know, like mom, if anybody can relate, obviously it's mom. Barely she's barely 15 years older than one of them, and then the other one is like I'll ask them to like, how did I convince them that I wasn't? Like, how did they not realize I was a kid when raising them? Like, no, I was mom, and they damn well knew I was mom, and they better stay in line. But like, so I kind of grew up with them, and there were some ways where that would suck at times, but it's made me a better grandmother and a better mother because now I'm able to like my daughter will call me and ask me a question, and I can like give her advice, but from when I talk to her, I'll be like, look at it from like Bella's view, my granddaughter. I'll be like, put yourself in her shoes, and this is how she's looking at it, and her brain is only maybe developed to this level, so that 7, hey, it's so nice to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Um, so like, look at her like, okay, for example, my daughter that she loves taking pictures of the kids and doing, especially holiday themed pictures, and she took my granddaughter her first year. She did this with my grandson too and carved out the pumpkin and then carved out to where he put legs in it and then put them in there. Well, Isabella went bananas, like just absolutely was terrified. And I sat there for a minute. I thought about it. And I was like, Holly, if you think about the texture of the inside of a pumpkin and all of that, and then you just grab her in a diaper and throw her back in there, that poor child probably thought you just threw her back in the womb and she did not know what to do. And my daughter just dies laughing. She was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. I bet you're right." But then my grandson, he loved it this year when she did it and she threw him in there. He was just giggling and all over the place laughing. So, yeah, I think it's little things like that that I am able to be a better mother. And also, when I think about it, I think that's why their dads sometimes are dicks to me because they're a little jealous. But it's the reason why my kids want to see me as much as they do or get excited about seeing me and spending time with me is because of the way that we were separated from one another and uh, that they are with their dads a lot. And so when you don't get to see your mom a lot or the other parent, you generally, especially when you only knew your mom as mom and you only heard her talk about certain things and that was it. And you never knew anything about like what her personal interests were. You didn't know that your mom was an artist. You didn't know that your mom was into hermetics or that she was into all this other stuff or that she was such a nerd that she was like into quantum theory and physics and stuff like that. They did not know that stuff. They didn't know anything about me like that. So I give their dads a little bit of a free pass sometimes on that. I'm like, of course they don't like me because they only know this one me, which was mom. And when you're a mom and you're running a household and you have to be everybody all the time and look for everybody's shit all the time and you hardly ever get a break for yourself, yeah, you can be a bitch. And I don't deny that. I'm straight up a bitch sometimes. I can't even help it. But for the most part, that's all they knew. So then when I got away from their dads, and then especially when I left my ex, which him and I raised my daughter and then our son together. So they knew that Emma. They did not know the Emma that has done all this self work for the last 6 years until very recently when they've got to hang around me more and they've started to get to know me and have conversations about all kinds of stuff. And my son will be driving uh, soon. My daughter will be 21 in a couple of days. Um, so our conversations have gotten a lot more in depth and like, and then I just love learning about them. I like to see what they're into and the way they go about things and see how much they're like me or how much they're like their fathers and all that stuff. That's the coolest thing I think about being a parent as young as I was and being able to now have all this time with still being parent and being a grandparent. I think that's so cool. Like so cool. The first thing I did though, whenever Holly, my daughter, got pregnant, was I went straight to my mom and her other Mimi. I mean, I was like, I'm so sorry because it literally took me this long to even understand the gravity of like what I had put not only me and David through, but like all of us. Like, and I'm sorry. Like, I don't regret it, but I just want y'all to know, like, I understand what I had done, and I am so grateful that you guys were as supportive as they were. Because if it weren't for them being around and sticking around and not like booting my ass out and being like, "Fuck you, you got yourself into this situation, you do it on your own." Neither family did that to us. They were always supportive. Ollie has always been well taken care of. All of my kids have been well taken care of because the grandparents, both sides, both babies' dads, they're wonderful families. So I could not be more blessed in that sense. I didn't have to marry either one of them, and I'm also still very much a part of their family. And even though they don't get along with me at times, I'm sure they still love me because they obviously they wouldn't have those children if it weren't for me. Because I cannot deny those kids are mine because it pops out every once in a while, and they will go, "Oh, that's all your mama. That's all your mama right there." And I'm like, because that's just me, and that's just the way I am, and I don't apologize for me. I don't want people to apologize to me for being themselves because why would you do that? You are who you are because of all the things that you've been through. And if you've been through a lot of shit in your life and you've overcome a lot of shit in your life, don't you dare apologize to people for being who you are, especially if they've not walked a mile in your shoes, and they probably wouldn't. 'Cause I tell you what, a lot of people are way too damn pussy to do that shit. Excuse me. That's not even a word I normally use, but really though, they ain't trying to do that. No, they really aren't. So that's what I always tell people. Like, you want to come put my shoes on for a day? Do you? Okay, then sit down and hush because you don't. And I don't claim to want to jump in other people's shoes either because there's some people out there they walk a harder life than I've had to. I don't envy that. I feel for them. I pray for people like that all the time because like why that's another thing I struggle with sometimes. Like when I see the people that are in this world that do some of the heinous and horrible fucking shit that they do, I go, how, like, I've gotten angry, y'all. Like, I mean, I've gotten so angry before when I was younger that I took a hockey stick and I had destroyed every door in a person's condo over some shit that was so stupid that was not warranted for what happened. I'll tell you that. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. But I was so mad. Like, I was so mad that I did that. And even still then, I wasn't trying to hurt any person. Like, I will destroy some property. That's been an issue. I try not to do that. It's really hard. And I've gotten better at it as I've gotten older. But yeah, I still can't fathom hurting someone, let alone hurting a child. So that's why I get upset sometimes when I see parents that have done stuff. Then I'm like, I didn't get to keep, I didn't get to have my life, y'all. I didn't. I had 10 days with him, 10 whole days with him, and then he was gone. And then there's people out there that just don't even want their kids, and I'm like, why? And then they do the things they do, and I'm like, that's the one thing that me and my friend Claudia, like, I haven't really talked with her about it much. She's been, like, a very close friend of mine since we were in, like, 3rd grade. We went to church together. We got in trouble when we were little at church because we were practicing witchcraft and stuff, and we got caught. But um, she's still Christian to this day, very much. My son got saved earlier this year, and that's another thing. Like, I don't push my spiritual beliefs or anything on my children. I let them be open to whatever they want to believe in. And they're welcome to practice whatever they want to. We did, when they were younger, go to church together as a family. So they were exposed to that early on. And then, of course, after I left and I've done my own stuff, my spiritual beliefs changed entirely. Plus, I had incidents early on in my life in church when I was a kid that messed church up for me for a long time. So even knowing that I'm mostly practice hermetics and stuff like that, and Claudia knows how I feel about Christianity. She's Christian. We don't ever argue about it. We'll talk about it sometimes, and we laugh and giggle at all kinds of stuff about some of the funniest things, but we still get along. So if you can have literally a witch sit in the same room with a Chris, a devout, every Sunday, not every Wednesday, going to church all the time, loves the Lord. But she's my best friend. Like, other than my best friend here, she's my best friend, and we. So if people are able to be that civil with one another, the amount of war and stupid shit that's going on, I'm just like, y'all dumb. Why are y'all acting like that? If me and this girl can get along and have such drastic viewpoints, and one of the hardest things that people have to discuss is either politics or religion, will almost certainly get people in a fight, even if they're friends. Okay? And if we can do that, then I don't know why anybody else can do that. I just don't understand. But again, I think something happened. There was like this CERN shit and this Mandela effect stuff. It's got us all in some weird time warp where some of us have, like, went into other parallel universes, and if we float in and out of those where shit is not logical, but yet some people actually operate on no logic. And then everybody that operated on logic our whole lives are sitting there like, okay, so, like, that's not logic, but it's working for them. So, like, but I know sure shit if I start doing that non-logical shit, then it ain't gonna work for me. How? How does that? I just all last year, 2022, just about every day, there was a good 30 minutes of Emma sitting around shaking her head like, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to do this. And then I'm pointing up at the sky like, thought you said you was coming back, man. Is the bus not working? Something, like, and my friend Claudia should just laugh at me when I say that. I'm like, I'm about to call him too and be like, what's going on? You ain't trying to come and help nobody? I mean, what's going on? I call Marvin the Martian and be like, we should probably just blow this thing up because I don't think it's gonna work anymore. Everything's all the shit. Kanye's missing. They was talking about Afro Man's trying to run 2024. Barbara Walters done died. I'm ready to trade Megan Kelly in to get Barbara back. Like, help me, Lord. Forgive me. And then I like rap. Okay, I grew up in the South, in a weird little part of the South in Western North Carolina where um, you'll find a lot of chicks like me that listen to rock and rap and all this in between. So I definitely listened to a group called 36 Mafia when they were underground, and they had a female rapper in their group, and she passed away the other day. And, like, so that's the first thing I wake up to on the first day of 2023, and I was like, nope, you did that crap to me with Kobe in the first of that of Jan, and then no, we're not doing this. You make a U-turn, you go back, you get your ass in the shower, and you come back out here and try again, girl. Don't you dare come out here with this bullshit and start my 2023 off like that. No, ma'am. I ain't having that. I ain't having that at all. So, some of the things that we're going to talk about in my podcast, which, if you don't know about my podcast, it is on Anchor and Spotify. The whole first season just wrapped up, 13 episodes. It's called Gigi's Midnight Rants, and they're like really short, 10 to 15, I think most, except for the last one. It's much longer because that's when we break down what we're going to be talking about in the second season. The second season, we'll be discussing a little bit more true crime, but we'll also be doing little smaller ones about things such as we have a thing about time, but I promise you, it's not time like y'all are thinking. It's time, but it has to do with the time change and stuff like that and all that over here in America. And then the other one that we're going to be looking into, if I can remember off the top of my head, has to do with um, the DNA testing companies and stuff like that. Um, uh, so, okay. Um, the music that I listen to, I do listen to metal, a lot of metal. I listen to Mudvayne, but not all of it's really hard metal. Some of their songs, like their album Lost and Found, it's more mainstream rock than it is metal. But I'll tell you, if I was gonna recommend any album of Mudvayne to listen to, so that people have a better understanding of what that was, they were such a huge impact on my life. That's how I found out about Hermetics and all kinds of stuff. It's what led me down a spiritual path, was literally this one metal band, because I was looking up their band logo, which just happens to be the tetrahedron, and that's how I got into the elements and all that stuff. I would recommend their album that's called "By the People for the People." It has um, demos of their best tracks, as well as some previously unreleased tracks, and they have a version of the Police song "King of Pain," and that is one hell of a cover. I'm not normally big on bands covering songs. That one I was really happy with. I also like the another cover. There's a song on there too called "All That You Are." The lyrics are really deep, but it's not an angry. It's a very slow, slow pace song. A lot of people don't know too that there is a certain rhythm that they play their music to that's like one note or like one beat off than what regular music is. That's why their music is a little bit different than a lot of other metal bands of their time. And early on in the band's history, when they were underground and just coming up, like they opened for Metallica on their Summer Sanitarium tour one year. Then the band split up for a while. Chad and I think the drummer Greg went to play for Hell Yeah, which is a combination of Pantera and Mudvayne and one other group. I think Nothing Face, but don't quote me on that. But they just recently got back together, which has me like, huh? Because I freaking love that band. I really love that band, and it's a good band. I would definitely recommend the album "By the People for the People." It's really good. It's a really good album. They have a DVD from their album called "The End of All Things to Come," and that's where they were on the Summer Sanitarium tour with Metallica. And I used to own it. It's hard to find a copy of it. If you do, or if you can find it online and watch it goes on tour with them, so you get a little bit more of a backstory behind the band. And oh, my dad loves AC/DC. I love AC/DC. I like Metallica. Um, yeah, I like Zeppelin though too. I listen to I listen to a lot of different stuff. Um, but in that DVD, there's a lot of little clips where there's they're on their tour bus or whatever, and their lead singer, his name is Chad Gray. He actually would have his therapist on tour with him sometimes because I think he had like anger management issues. But he would talk about all kinds of stuff that led him down his spiritual path and stuff. So a lot of people don't really realize that. I think about some metal bands, like for example, Tool. A lot of their lyrics are very much like references to hermetic stuff and stuff like that. So I think that's the worst thing that people are missing out on about when they don't listen to rock or metal, like Disturbed. Disturbed, some of their early stuff was really good. They did a remix of NXS's Shout. I think it was NXS's Shout. Don't quote me on that. I hope that was right. but they did that. They also did a cover of Genesis Land of Confusion. I just saw a cover though, y'all, the other day that Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson did of You're So Vain. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about the fact that they even covered it. I don't know how to feel about that sound. I don't know how to, yeah. I mean, I don't, it's not bad, but it's like, I don't know how to feel about it before I can listen to it enough to decide whether or not I like it. I also like The Weeknd. Like, I love The Weeknd. I could put The Weeknd on and I'll just be in my jam zone. Like, I don't even. I love The Weeknd. Yeah, I love that stuff. But and I also like some CCR. I really do like Creedence Clearwater. I like that a lot. I used to listen to a lot of Garth Brooks because my mom grew up listening to country music. Um, so I consider country music like Reba McEntire, Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, George Strait, Travis Tritt, uh, Florida Georgia Line. Y'all, honey, I love y'all. Y'all really not that. Mm-mm. Darius is barely cutting it for me because I really like Hootie, and I like his sound, but he's teeter tottering. Um, I, I'm gonna go ahead and say Ryan Upchurch is country just because I like Ryan Upchurch, and he is just they give him so much shit, man, and he is. It's because he's right sometimes. I'm not gonna. I love Chevelle and Breaking Benjamin is another one. Um, let's see if you listen to my Spotify playlist. If you pull up, let's see what's on my mix. What's on my mixes? Uh, I have like right now. There's Godsmack. Serenity is a good one. It has Collective Soul. I have Rammstein, Du Hast. I listen to that. It's right after Robert Palmer's Addicted to Love. There's Rammstein. Tell me, I don't have some weird, some weird ass freaking taste of music. Then Drowning Pool, then Twilight Zone, then Money for Nothing, then CCR with Fortunate Son. Then it jumps from that to Rob Zombie's Dragula, and then Shinedown Monsters, which is a damn good song. A damn good song. Shinedown is one fucking awesome band. That's a deep ass band. That dude has been through a lot of shit, Brick. Then it jumps to House of Pain, Jump Around, and then there's like Nirvana, then Loverboy, then AC/DC, Who Made Who, Down in a Hole, Alice in Chains, Santana, Put Your Lights On, and then ends with Jekyll and Hyde by Five Finger Death Punch. Yeah, that's him as a little mix right there for you for the night. That's what is was on my playlist when I was listening. It's like I'll take all of them for 500. I know, right? I love it. I like music is such a huge thing in my life. Music and art and trap. I like trap. I like trap. 10 years is good. Avenged Sevenfold is good. Um, Slipknot, Slipknot, and Stone Sour. Um, Arctic Monkeys, The Revivalists, Audio Slave, Soundgarden. If you can't fuck with Chris Cornell, I can't fuck with you. If you can't fuck with Blaine Staley and Alice in Chains, I can't fuck with you. If you don't like them, I will literally put the brakes on and be like, sorry, get out. Get out of the car. Get out right now. Tell me you don't like Alice. I'm like, you have no soul. What is wrong with you? I'm like, let me guess. You like Hole, don't you? You a Courtney Love fan, ain't you? Get out of my car. I was just like, my buddy was born in Montreal, and we were just listening. I was just listening to "I Can't Dance" in the car earlier. I love that song. I love that song. I don't know, and who doesn't like in the night, calling in the air tonight? Yeah, who doesn't love that song? Like really, I mean, really, Cashmere from Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. I love music. I also like classical music. I like a lot of different classical music, mostly dark classical pieces. I like a lot of Tchaikovsky. Um, I like the O Fortuna. Um, Dance Macabre is another one. Lacrimosa. Uh, shoot, there's one more that I really, really like. Oh, come on a minute. I think Requiem is another one from that same one. I think it's Mozart. But yeah, I like classical music too because if it weren't for classical music, we'd never had rock. People don't seem to get that either. I like No Leaf Clover. Okay, so how do you feel about Metallica S&M? A lot of people give that album shit. And the album Load that has Bleeding Me and the house that Jack built was very good. Guess who was the drummer in the Robert Plant? Who? In concert, 1983. In 1983. Genesis drummer? Or was it the drummer from Def Leppard that had one arm? My daughter didn't know that till I told her that. I was like, hell yeah, I love Def Leppard. Don't you dare, don't you dare. I love Hysteria, Foolin', Too Late for Love. Just there's just about every damn song that they got. He was? Nuh-uh. He was the drummer? I did not know that. That is crazy. I did not know you played the drum. Is he like Dave Grohl and plays just like all the instruments? Like Dave Grohl can play just about every instrument. I'm pretty sure. He plays the piano, the guitar, he can play the drums. Um, there's something else he can play. I forgot. I'm gonna look that up. I did not know that. I am so glad you told me that. I know Dave Grohl filled in for a band one summer when their drummer passed away. He also, I think, turned down or did fill in with Tom Petty's band at one point, or went on tour with them one summer. And so, yeah, that's and um, I've seen Five Finger Death Punch, Buck Cherry, and Papa Roach in concert at the Civic Center here. I've seen um, Hell Yeah, I've seen In This Moment. I cannot even OMG. I cannot believe I forgot the beautiful Maria Brink. Um, what can I say? If you don't know about In This Moment, you've got to go and look that band up. That woman is one hell of a singer, and not to mention their shows. Her performance is is something to see. It really is. Every time they come to town, I really want to go see them. Every time, I love In This Moment. I like Marilyn Manson too, y'all. I have since I was a kid. Used to have a Marilyn Manson T-shirt. My daughter's grandmother found it and threw it away. In her dad's closet. It was in her dad's closet in a dirty place. She threw it away. That pissed me off. But I don't really listen to. He ain't had any good music that's come out in years. So like, I'm gonna. So I don't really listen to him that much anymore. Um, but some of his songs are pretty deep too. I read his autobiography when I was younger. I probably shouldn't have read that at the age that I did, but hearing some of the stuff he went through when he was a kid and shit like that, it does explain a little bit about the weirdo that he is. But I think a lot of that's just a performance that he puts on for the public. I don't think that's really who he is behind closed doors. But who knows? Who knows? I think if people believed that Johnny Depp was innocent and all that, and Amber Heard was the only guilty party, then you're a fucking idiot. Straight up, they're both equally guilty. And the fact that he hangs out with Marilyn Manson should tell you enough about how he behaves, at least intimately, because they do talk about their sexuality when they're drunk, and that's been seen on the internet several times. And yeah, which Marilyn does not drink a lot so much as he does drugs or did do drugs allegedly, whatever. So yeah, And then yeah, uh, so do you speak French? Like, are you from Montreal, Gringo? My buddy was born in Montreal. He's actually Indian. He was born in Montreal, and then they moved to the States when he was like 3. So, uh, if you were to hear him speaking and not see him, you would think he was a white dude from the South. In '74, I think his brother was born in the 70s. I want to go, so I do want to go. Sometime I want to get a passport because I would love to at least go up north. Um, I love French. I do. I love that language. I do really love that language. I like listening to it, and I also like Japanese. I like Japanese a lot. That's the reason why I always tell Daisy whenever I speak to her. I always say it in Japanese. I always say "I love you" in Japanese, which is there's a couple different ways you can say it. One of them is "skidesu," and the other one is "arisuru." That's how you say it. "Arisuru" and "skidesu." That's how you say "I love you" in Japanese. And then that's also what this tattoo is. Let's try to get it to where the light's not glaring. Ta-da! And it reads from up and down, and means love. It's the Japanese symbol for love. And that's and the other one that's tattooed on my finger is that I get covered up. I have stars behind my ears. I have my daughter's name on the back and my son's names on my arms. And then I have there's 2 stars behind each ear, and that's because there's 2 children with one dad, 2 children with the other, and then the stars are colored in the color of their birthstone. Um, so I forget about this law obviously because I can't see them because they're literally behind my ear on that part of your bone that's behind your ear on the skull. Um, and then I have one on my ankle that is the laugh now, cry later faces. Oh, of course, I have to get a passport. Um, because I want to go. I also want to go see the Grand Canyon uh, before I die. Those 2 things are on my bucket list. Go up north to go past Niagara Falls. I have literally no interest to go in California. There's not a damn thing I can think of honestly that I'd want to see other than maybe the tar pits in California. The Hollywood sign don't interest me. The walk paint, none of that shit. There's not a celebrity out there I want to see. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Maybe Catalina. Maybe Catalina. That'd be about it. But other than that, I can't really think of anything in California because it's just so like I'm afraid that like it's that infectious and insidious and like that you get out there and the next thing you know you're in a cult, Scientology, or you're on Skid Row, or they've cloned you and you're a celebrity or some I don't even know. God only knows. But have literally no desire to do that. Uh, I used to want to go to Texas, but it's really hot. It's really hot down there. Everybody says, "Oh, I don't think you can handle that." It's really, really hot down there. And then my brother-in-law, he lived in Galveston, and there was a lot of storms down there and stuff too. So he said it's like it's a lot of stuff. Um, but I've been around. I've been to all the other surrounding states other than Florida. I've been to Virginia, West Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. I've not been to Florida. Florida's the only one I haven't been to. But I'm gonna get there. You wait and see. I'm gonna San Diego, LA. Oh, wow, cool. You did like time? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And next thing you know, it's like, oh shit. How did I end up in a damn cult? There all the reason I'm really scared to go out west is the sheer amount of people that I have seen end up getting into uh either Mormonism or the LDS or the Latter Day Saint, and the next thing you know, you're like Lori Vallow Daybell or freaking what's the other ones that are also the Mormon thing has actually come up in a lot of these true crime cases. They're just not talking about it that much. I guess they don't. to draw that kind of heat on the church. But it's like hell that there's heat on every church right now of the religions because okay, explain to me how mega churches aren't multi-level marketing schemes. They flew you back. That's so funny. I know, like, come here. You wanna check out our brownie sales? It's like we just sell baked goods and stuff and make soap. It's real fun. And then like, what do you do with all the money? Oh, we give it to Pastor Bill or whatever. Mm, but like, there's one time recently where I was hanging out with a group of people and we were doing all this stuff, and all of a sudden I come home one day and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, wait a minute, Emma, I think you might need to take a step back and look at this for a minute. This kind of sounds like a cult. If you start thinking about everything you just said, and that's why all my friends like they were quiet all of a sudden. And I sit there for a minute. I was like, wait a minute, and they were like, dude, and I was like, that sounds like a cult, doesn't it? And they were like, yeah, and I was like, oh shit, do you think I was about? And they were like, it kind of sounds like you may have been about to. What do you mean you're not allowed back into? Oh, what did you do? You don't have to tell us. You don't have to tell us. You don't have to share your criminal history. I It's totally up to you. I don't, like, if somebody was to ask me about mine, 'cause I'm sure people do background checks, I'll tell you, everything I know. I can tell you for a fact if you do look me up for some reason, at least the service that I used to do one, told me that I was on, a dang terrorist watch list, but I don't know why I had to pay to find out. You stole a car and you can't come back to the US for that? My my sister stole way much more shit than that. She literally broke into a fucking fire department, y'all. She's got, like, so many felony charges, and she's she's out of jail. I could never steal a car because if something was to happen and I get pulled over and I'm gonna try to run, and then I'm gonna end up wrecking it, and then I'm gonna feel bad about wrecking the person's car. So, like, man, if you'd just let me borrow it, you're not reported it stolen, you know I'd have brought it back. You know, it's gonna take it forever. I just wanted to borrow it. Just wanna borrow a car, man. I just wanna borrow the car from it. Just let me borrow the damn car. Yeah, either way. I was watching a High Speed Chase 2 last week on one of those ones that, one of those channels that cover those, and it was in LA, and this dude, literally, y'all, stole 4 cars before they caught him. He got out of one, ran through some backyards, ran through these people's back door of their house, fought some of them in their yard, and the 3 of them jumped him, and he still got in the truck and drove off. And then they eventually caught him after he got in another vehicle, and I was like, I don't know what the hell he was on a mission to get, but damn it, man, he was serious. Did you see that? He was in the van, and went over the median, and he stole those people's truck. They were trying to keep their dog from going out of the gate, so that's why they ended up letting him go. They just didn't wanna get their dog to get out of the gate, but yeah, they busted him in the face and everything, and he still ran around the truck. Oh my god, that shit was hilarious. I was like, "How you gonna steal a dude's work truck, man? You know that's what that was his work truck." Now he's like, "Damn it, man. How am I gonna call the boss man in the morning and tell him I can't come to work? Some jackass ran up in my house and stole my keys, stole my truck. If it wasn't on that damn channel on the live, boss probably never believe that shit. Crazy." I did too. I saw it live, and then the next day I had to watch it again because I had to leave right before the end of it, and I wanted to see if they caught him. I had no idea that when I first got up and started watching it, he is already in the second vehicle, and it was in that van. Then he got that truck, and I had to leave before that. After he got the truck and was still running, I had to leave before that. They gave him the keys. What? You got me all the way fucked up. Well, I guess they did give him the keys. They didn't want to get hurt. And they also didn't want, I guess, the dog to get rid I don't know, but damn, that I'm telling y'all, that's why I ordered a cattle prod. I'm not joking. I will light your ass up. Come running to my back door. Come running even anywhere near my back door. The chances are, before you get to my back door, you're going to run into a mama bear and her 2 or 3 cubs that are always wandering through the fucking yard here. So, good luck. I cannot believe they gave him the keys. That blows my mind because he ran that truck all to shit. I saw him run that thing over so many. He got out in a dead end. That motherfucker was on a damn mission. I want to know what they originally pulled him over for, what the warrants were for, that he decided I must run and steal 4 cars by the end of the damn day before this chase in. Like, are you kidding me? I'm dying. I can't even. That is so funny. That is so funny. No, just that's so funny, man. That is so funny. Got into a dead end and still managed to drive out. He was just driving over every freaking oh. Well, yeah, I would have gave him yeah, I probably would have given the I would have given the keys too. Yep. No shit. I would have given the keys too. Wait a minute. This wasn't that guy. No, sure no, no, no. I'm confused. No, we're talking about the same thing, but I got confused about something else because of the knife. I was like, Idaho? Wait, what? No, no? Okay. That Idaho shit had me fucked up too. That didn't see that coming. I'm not gonna lie, I honestly thought that one of the downstairs roommates had to have had something to do with it. I still am not quite sure how that guy would have gotten in because, for one, why isn't nobody talking about that damn bar stool that is shoved in the door of the sliding is jammed in the sliding glass door on the second floor to where you can't open it from the outside. So how did he get in? The only other way he could have gotten in would either be the downstairs front door, main entrance, where the other 2 surviving victims were on that floor, or he would have had to have a damn 12-foot extension ladder to get access to the back porch because it doesn't have stairs and it was only closed off. The only way you could get onto it was from the inside of the third floor of the one bedroom with the sliding glass door. And the bedroom that those victims were found in was the other bedroom, which didn't have the sliding glass door. So, like, none of that shit was making any sense. Not to mention the crime scene photos that I had seen thus far, there is not enough blood. I'm so, so sorry. There is not an oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and he was ramming them, yeah, and got out and that yeah, okay, okay, yeah. So I saw it from that part. That's where I saw it. Yeah, but with the Idaho thing, like, there's not enough blood. Like, there is not enough blood anywhere. There's no blood coming out of the house anywhere. So how did he get away without getting blood all over that snowy covered driveway or the bank behind it or whichever direction he took off in? There should be a very clear, visible trail of blood splatter droplets, what the fuck ever, all over that damn place. Why was there not? And there just wasn't enough blood. Just didn't make no sense to me. Still doesn't make sense. Still not sure how to feel about that particular case. So that's another thing that we're going to be talking about on the um, the podcast. And then I also want to try to do some reading stuff too in some live streams because there's some really good books that I have that I want to share some of the stuff out of those books um, with you guys, just in case you don't have them or you've never heard of them before or just interested in what is in them. Like one of them first on the list is probably the one that I'm going to do with Richie, and it is The Secret History of the World because he's been reading out of the book called The Children of the Sun, and that correlates with some of the stuff that I have in The Secret History of the World. The author of that book is Mark Booth. If you guys want to try to read up on it before we ever do anything on it, and I also am still doing the national park stuff, so I still have like a lot of stuff on my plate. I'm still doing all of that. Oh damn, that's fucked up. That is really messed up, and I hate it when they shoot in the parking lot where there's other people around that could freaking be injured. That's so careless. Right. Police do need to reform in their training. Seriously, no shit. So, um, yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. If it's probably later tonight, I'm gonna be in touch with her to find out. Well, probably here in just a second, be in touch with her to find out uh, what she came up with on some of the research today. Because we're probably gonna try, and then not next week, but the week after that, when she gets back home and settled and has time, then we'll probably start the recording the first season of the first episode of the second season of the podcast, which is Gigi's Midnight Rants, and it is on Anchor and Spotify. The whole first season, all 13 episodes, is up now, and you can check them out if you want to. And there was a live stream for that episode. I think it may be unlisted now. I'm not sure. I have to go check. So, but since I have been going for almost 2 hours and I haven't ate yet today, I'm gonna put this blunt out, or at least half of it, and then eat. Try to get some more research done, and then y'all leave a comment if you watch this in the recap. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Next live stream we can do a read out from a different book, or we can discuss any topic of your choice, or we can do an AMA, or we can have a panel discussion. So y'all just be thinking about that, and then you can let me know in the comments because I'm starving. Gotta go make me something to eat, or I'm gonna faint right here in front of y'all, as if I didn't already knock the damn camera over it anyways, and make a mess of it. So thank you guys and all of you guys so much for joining me. Seriously, like I said, you have no idea how much it means to me just to have all this time to get to interact with you people and hear your thoughts, share thoughts with y'all, and just basically just chit chat with people and make friends. Because sometimes it's super hard to do when you can't be on the same level. You know, you gotta find your own tribe. That's what we're doing here. That's why it took me this long to do that. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you all. So please come back. So